A mystery has gripped the park.
The redneck wallabies that live on my side of the fence
Have been turning up on my side of the fence.
and it's got the keepers completely flummoxed because there are no gaps under the fence and there are no holes in the wire either.
Surely they can't be jumping over the fence.
Show off. Well, if they are, the keepers have got to find out because before long there'll be more wallabies over there than there are over here.
As well as solving the case of the wandering wallabies, this time on Animal Park, we meet Longleat's deadliest new addition.
They are very, very toxic. They've actually been known to make a human heart stop.
And crouching tiger hidden breakfast. The keepers set the lure, but will the tigers take the bait?
You can let the tigers go when you're ready.
Come on, camels!
And Jean's Camel Salon opens for business.
Got to pull quite hard, don't be shy. There you go.
There you go.
Any of that?
Feel good?
As a keeper here, you're not supposed to show favouritism towards one animal, but for lead keeper John here, there is no doubt Rio has a special place in your heart. Rio, the Malaccan cockatoo.
Yes. So this is Rio. As you said, he's a Malaccan cockatoo. As you said, shouldn't have favourites because we're out of earshot of the other parrots. Yeah, he is a little bit of a favourite here. Animal adventure. I suppose, like all parents, secretly you have a favourite, but you're just not supposed to tell the others.
We'll keep our secret here. What are we doing with Rio today?
We're actually going to give him a shower. It's a lovely morning here today, so we're going to give him a bit of a spray.
Here, this is what this is?
Yep, down with some water.
On your shoulder, are you ready for the shower
I'd
as
rather
well?
not. I've had one already today, so I think
Okay.
if we pop him down, he'll possibly just step up.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, and either on the fence or he's more than likely just going to bounce around and do a bit of showing off anyway.
Shall we spray?
Yeah, give him a bit of a...
Rio, you're not sure about that? Rio, your shower's over here.
I'll tell you what, let's pop him back on the climbing frame.
Tell me a bit about Rio. How old is Rio?
Rio is 10 this year. So he's a male Malaccan cockatoo, an absolutely beautiful bird, natural show-off.
And not inclined to a shower?
Obviously not this morning, no, similar to me, I think. Maybe he'd already had one before we got here.
And what is it about Rio that you've got this soft spot for?
I think, just look at him. He's just an amazing, beautiful bird. He's such a big character, very noisy, very attention-seeking. Maybe it's a little bit similar to myself. That's
you see yourself in Rio?
Possibly. That's maybe why I have such a good relationship with him. But obviously, we were going to give him a shower, and obviously that's they get quite dusty. So especially cockatoos, they produce a dust which, in the wild, they're lucky enough that they have the humidity of the environment. Here in Wiltshire, unfortunately, when it rains, it's cold. So we have to replicate that warm rain for Rio instead. But yeah, as we saw, he wasn't overly up for it today.
Well, John, thank you for letting me try. Rio didn't want a shower, so I'll have to have one.
Well, that's one way to cool off in this glorious summer we're having. The animals, on the other hand, have their own ways of dealing with the rising temperatures. One species not at all bothered by the heat is the redneck wallaby. These animals have evolved to withstand the extreme climate of their native Australia, and they love to sunbathe. Jenna is one of their keepers, and unfortunately, all is not well in the wallaby walkthrough. Some of the wallabies have been going walkabout.
So we had the enclosure split last year, mainly for health reasons, and we noticed that a lot of them were getting poorly up in the top area.
It seems that the wallabies might be eating something that's making them ill.
This is kind of the area we don't want them to be in. You can see there's loads of beech trees around, and we're crunching through loads of beech nuts on the floor.
Jenna has reason to be concerned. Overeating things like nuts can make animals sick.
We're worried that they're consuming the beech nuts and perhaps getting them stuck, and it causes abscesses and things that unfortunately mean they can't eat and things like that, so they get quite thin, and then eventually we have to put them to sleep, unfortunately.
To solve the problem, keepers must be able to control exactly where the wallabies go, so they've invested in a vast wallaby-proof fence. But it turns out it's not wallaby-proof.
We do have a bit of a problem in that we've ended up with some wallabies up here and we don't know how they're getting through. You're not meant to be up here, come on. Back you go. So you've got the fence all the way along, and we put the gates in so they can't get through where they'd normally go, but they are still managing to find a way. So you really have to kind of get on top of this problem. Obviously it's for their health. We really want to find a solution as quick as we can.
The situation has the whole park baffled.
If I was to put money on it, I think they're probably going under.
They're squeezing through the gates.
I think the Wallabies are escaping by going under a hole in the fence.
I genuinely don't have a clue. Just no idea.
Lead keeper Polly is desperate to figure out what's happening. The lives of the Wallabies could depend on it.
We're wondering if they're going under somewhere, so whether there's a gap somewhere that we haven't found, or are they going over the top? Has someone accidentally left a gate open? We don't know. It could be anything.
Are they tunnelling underneath?
I can't see any gaps in it.
Maybe they're squeezing through the gate.
They wouldn't be able to get through there.
Or can they even make it over the top?
We've got a wallaby just along the fence line there, and the fence is double his height. It would be quite a jump for them to get over, but I think that could be how they're doing it. I don't know that they're just outright jumping and clearing it. I'm wondering if they're jumping high enough to get a bit of a footing and then spring off that and go the other side. That's the theory I'm going with.
The keepers need to crack this problem fast. They've come in today to find that almost half the wallabies have escaped into the restricted area. Keeper Kev has gathered an emergency squad to move them to safety.
So what we're going to do, we're going to have one person on one fence, one person on the other. We'll spread out in the middle, encourage the wallabies along, and hopefully they'll go through the middle bit. Once they're in, get the gates closed. Happy days.
But herding wallabies is no easy task.
Hey, 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 hey. They're a lot quicker than us.
Wow, if they can jump over a keeper, maybe Polly's theory is correct.
Good effort. Apart from James that let one go past him. That was a lot harder than what it should have been. They did give us a bit of a run around, but we got there in the end.
With all the wallabies back safe on the right side of the fence, the team can now focus once again on how they're getting out. Are they jumping over the fence or are they going down under?
I think we need to set up some camera traps and see if they're hopping the fence or if they're going under the gates or if they've grown wings and flown overnight. We just don't know, so that's something to find out.
However they're doing it, it has to be stopped before any more wallabies become seriously ill.
Specialist wildlife cameraman Louis Lebrom is back, and today he's heading into tiger territory.
So I've filmed several big cats since I started wildlife filmmaking, but never tigers. A lot of lions, a lot of cheetahs, a lot of African cats, but tigers are something really close to my heart. I do love tigers, and obviously they're incredibly endangered, so it's going to be amazing to see them really up close and personal.
So far on Animal Park, Louis has already captured some fantastic images with his special high-speed camera, revealing amazing animal adaptations that the eye can't see. He's captured the fastest chasers.
Oh, here they come. Here they come.
As well as the fastest feeders.
That's very cool.
Oh, we got it. Yeah. Amazing. Happy.
Today, the big cat keepers are desperate for his help because they've spotted their enormous tigers climbing up the trees. Given they weigh around 17 stone, Caleb wants to see just how they're able to propel themselves 6 meters straight up a tree trunk to grab a piece of meat.
Hopefully, with all the meat being on one side of the tree, we'll be able to sort of control where they go up so we can get it in line with his camera and try and get it in slow motion to see just how powerful they are. It's going to be awesome to see it close up and also in sort of slow-mo to see the power, how they sort of manipulate their weight to keep balance.
We've rigged some of our cameras up in the tree too. But Louis will be filming up close from his tiger-proof camera cage.
There are so many processes to getting the perfect shot, and the first step is the perfect positioning. If you haven't got the perfect position, you're going to miss the action. It's almost as important as making sure you press record. I've reversed the camera car as close to the tree as possible to make sure that when the tigers come, I've got a perfect line of sight. I think I've actually got the camera car in the perfect place to see the tigers leap. And hopefully, fingers crossed, they should do as they're told.
There is no guarantee that it's going to work because obviously they choose to do what they want to do when they're outside. But we've kind of stacked the odds in our favour for them to be interested in that tree and to hopefully climb it.
So the main idea behind this shot is that they're going to jump for this meat. And what we really want to see is the power in those hind legs as the tigers jump up, but then also how they grapple down onto the tree and then grapple the meat down out of the tree, just to show how strong and how powerful they actually are.
The stars of the show are the park's 10-year-old Siberian tigers, sisters Sundari and Shaori. This species of tiger is the largest on the planet, with a body length of almost 3 meters.
We can just see the tigers over in the paddock to our left, just behind us here. And they are incredibly beautiful animals, but they are rather large and rather intimidating. It's definitely getting my heart going a little bit. OK, Caleb, I think we're ready to go.
You can let the tigers go when you're ready. Now running, hopefully this direction.
OK, so the tigers are coming now.
The tigers head straight to the tree. Sundari is more confident. Caleb expects she'll be the first to leap.
Shaori's missed the tree, but Sundari spotted it. She can smell it.
I think she's going to go for it.
Even if she does jump, Louis won't know whether he's got the shot Caleb wants until they review the footage later.
So hopefully, she's gone straight up the tree. That's so cool. Awesome. Sundari's got something. Shaori's obviously a little bit nervous because Sundari's already gone up there, but Sundari spotted it again, so here she goes. Oh, perfect. Well done, Sundari.
They're not phased at all. So well equipped and well adapted to be hunting up trees. It's incredible to see. These tigers just bolt up this tree. One's coming straight towards us. It's right up next to the vehicle. It's a little bit surreal being so close to these tigers. They are absolutely huge.
Shaori still hasn't been tempted to go up. But her sister has 3 times already, and it's starting to show. Every time she climbs, it gets a bit harder. The effort required is massive.
You can see she's already tired, so it's a real workout climbing the trees. And she's just trying to smell in the air, see if there's an easier piece of meat available. And if she has to come for it, she'll go up again. They use the same skills as domestic cats when they climb in trees, so the claws come out, and then they just dig them into the wood. We've seen Shaori partially climb the tree, so hopefully she'll figure out there's another piece up there.
Sundari settles down to enjoy her snack and a well-earned rest. And Shaori is still reluctant to have a go. Will Louis have one more chance to get the shot they need?
This tiger's just circling this tree, deciding whether or not to go up. She can smell the meat. She's obviously interested. I think it's just a case of, can she be bothered?
Shaori finally goes for it, but misses the meat.
It's just taken one of our cameras out of the tree.
She has another go. And gets the hardest prize to reach.
So we've done our bit. Obviously, we've got the tigers up in the trees. Hopefully, it was enough for Louis to capture it. And I can't wait to see the footage later on to see what he's captured.
It's going to be really interesting to play that back later on, just to see exactly how those tigers are leaping and grappling onto the tree and holding all of that weight up. But think we've definitely got something in there.
We'll be back to see just how these big cats make such giant jumps.
Now we're heading over to Wolf Wood. There are 3 Canadian timber wolves living at the park: Alf, Vic, and the notorious Dave. They used to be part of a larger pack, but as the years have rolled on, it's these old-timers who remain. I've joined Head of Section Amy to help give them their medication.
The 3 boys, looking quite perky in the sunshine this morning, Amy.
They're looking great in the sunshine, aren't they?
Aren't they? Aren't they? They're quite old boys now, though, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, they're 10 years old and they're getting on a bit, bless them.
But they do represent a bit more work for you now. I mean, like all OAPs,
yes.
She says, speaking for herself, we need a little bit more maintenance, don't we, than we used to?
Yes, they do need a little bit more care. We've got some supplement that we just give to them for their joints.
Right.
So just a bit of old age and a bit of arthritis and things, so we just give them a bit of just an extra help just to get them moving about.
Now, how do you give medicine to a wolf? Because, you know, it sounds simple, but I suspect a little bit of skullduggery needs to be adopted.
It's a lot more difficult than our lions and our tigers because we can hand feed and put the medication inside. Here with these guys, we need to chuck it out to them, but make sure the certain one gets it because they're not all on the medication.
Oh, right.
So we have to make sure the one that we need the medication to gets their medication. So it's a bit more difficult.
OK. And I know Dave is infamously tricky. Is he one of the ones that needs the medication?
He's the one who needs it more than anybody else.
Oh, right.
Unfortunately for Amy, the wolves won't take their medicine from a spoon, but they will from a chunk of meat.
Come on, Dave. Come and see us.
Come boys. Because we do it every morning, they've got used to it.
Right.
So it's quite difficult to start with. But now we come in every morning, they'll come and take chunks. And even though we've just started with Alf, because he needs that extra little bit of help as well, he's come straight over, they all take chunks.
Yeah.
So it's quite easy now to get them into them.
Always a real joy to see them, and it's just lovely to see them looking so fit and healthy in the summer sunshine. Thanks,
Yes.
Amy.
Perfect, thank you.
Longleat's home to a herd of 17 Bactrian camels. Measuring more than 2 metres to the top of their twin humps, they're the largest living camel species. In the winter, they grow these fabulous shaggy coats, but when summer comes, they shed. The keepers at the park help this process along, and today, Jean's helping out.
So, Rosie, should we give the Bactrian camels a hand?
I definitely think so. I think they need a hand because sometimes some of that fluff doesn't always want to come off. So I think they'd much appreciate that.
So will they mind us kind of pulling at their hair?
No, in general, they actually appreciate it. They actually quite like it. It's good for them to just get a little bit of contact with us as well. You might pull off a little bit that may be a little bit attached, but don't worry too much.
Round you come.
So I have some food. I'll just give them a call. Come on, camels!
Come on, camels!
There you go. We've got some excitement now.
Let's get rid of some of that hair. Come on over.
If you just find anything really long, they might be a little bit nervous. Anything really pale as well, because you can see like on him here,
yeah,
he's got this colours. Yeah, he's got this fluffy stuff around the edge that's getting really pale. It's going to really easily peel off, whereas some of this darker mane might stay for a little bit longer.
Yeah, so we want to leave that.
Yeah. Just have a little lean out, see if you can grab it. So you see I've just pulled out a little bit there, so you can see how easy it came out. It does take quite a long time, especially when they don't maybe have as many things to scratch on as they do in the wild. Also in the sand, they'd be able to roll and it would pull off a little bit as well.
Of course, yeah.
So we do like to give them a little bit of a hand. Good girl. Any of that, all of this sort of stuff. You've got to pull quite hard, don't be shy. There you go.
There you go.
Any of that.
Feel good, yeah?
There you go. Any of that.
It's pretty much like lamb's wool to touch, isn't
definitely.
it?
Really thick, really, but quite fine actually. Surprisingly, it's not as sort of like coarse as you might expect. It's quite fluffy. Jazz will go for it if you want to reach out for that. She's pretty friendly. There you go.
This cycle of shedding hair and growing back the woolly coat is so important for them in the wild, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Where these guys live, places like Mongolia and things like that, it can actually go in the year from a temperature sort of plus 40 to down to minus 40 at night, and also in the winter. And sometimes it even snows. So this coat is really important to them. But it is important as well that they do shed that, so that when it does get into those really warm months, they don't overheat. So, no, myrtle. I said no, it's not your bag either.
Hey, come on. They're very hungry camels today, and they're not very well behaved, this lot. They're quite naughty. So I'm going to continue with this. We could be here a while because there's quite a lot of coats to get through. But after a bit of this grooming, they're all going to be looking really good.
Back now to the mystery of Wallaby Wood.
You're not meant to be up here, come on.
The keepers are desperately trying to keep the wallabies where they want them. They're escaping into a restricted area. Beech nuts have fallen onto the ground here, and keepers believe eating too many could be making the wallabies sick.
What we want to do now is find out how potentially they're getting through. So we've got a few cameras we're going to set up, and hopefully we'll be able to catch some footage of what they're doing.
In the wild, red-necked wallabies are largely nocturnal, preferring to rest during the day. To try and witness the wallabies making their escape, Jenna is strategically placing night vision infrared cameras at potential escape points.
So we're popping this camera here. It's the other end of the paddock, and they've got quite strong claws, so they could be using that to dig through the sand.
But with so much fencing and just a handful of cameras, there's no way the team can cover every angle.
So I've opened the first clip, and I've got a wallaby on the side that we don't want it, and it's looks like it's trying to get back to the side we do want it, but that clip doesn't really show us how it got the wrong side to start with. It's this point somewhere that it's getting to the other side that we don't want it. It's not just the one troublemaker going over all the time. They all seem to want to do it. We just had 3 there, all paying attention to the fence on both sides. So it's obviously a point of interest. We've seen digging, but no one actually going under the fence.
Polly checks all the footage, but doesn't catch a single red-necked wallaby red-handed.
They're definitely sneaky. They're obviously smarter than I am, because I haven't found the way they're doing it, but they're doing it somehow.
The plot thickens. It's not a whodunit, it's a howdunit. The case of the wily wallabies remains unsolved. For now.
I've come behind the scenes to meet one of the newest and most dangerous animals in the park. Now, it's not a lion or a tiger or even keeper James here. It's a tiny frog. Tell me about who we've got in here.
So in this tank we have some of our green and black poison dart frogs.
And named poison dart frogs because they're highly poisonous.
In the wild, yeah, they are very, very toxic. They're actually been known to make a human heart stop.
Really?
So that's how toxic they are. In captivity, however, it's slightly different. So they're not eating the same things that they would be eating in the wild. So the things that would produce that toxin are not present in captivity, so they're not toxic at all.
Which must be quite reassuring for you when you're looking after these guys. They've got this extraordinary colouring, haven't they? Is that so that they blend in the wild?
Quite the opposite. So they're trying to stand out. They're trying to show every other animal in the place that, you know, steer clear of me because I can mess you up.
So they're using that poison as a deterrent rather than a way to catch food?
Exactly. So it's poison, it's secreted through the skin, so it's only really effective when an animal sticks it in its mouth.
OK. So we're going to feed them today. What do these frogs eat?
On the menu today are fruit flies.
They're looking a little bit white.
Yeah, so they're covered in calcium powder. It's important to just add that into their diet. It is a potential that they can become deficient in it.
OK, so it's a supplement for them. And just put them all in here. You ready? There we go. Come on, come and get your lunch. And the poison dart in their name, does that come from the species being used to actually make poison darts?
Exactly, yeah. So the natives would have dipped their arrows, well, basically just rubbed the arrows across their skin, and that would have implanted that toxin on that arrow and been very, very deadly to anything that they were trying to hunt. I haven't tested it, but
I don't blame you. I'd avoid that if I was you. Well, thank you very much, James, for showing me behind the scenes. It just goes to show that when it comes to deadly animals, size isn't everything. Now we're back with wildlife cameraman Louis Lebrom and Caleb. He's desperate to see the results of today's shoot in tiger territory and discover how a 17-stone tiger can fly 6 meters up a tree.
So the question is, Caleb, did we actually get anything today? I'm pretty certain we did.
Caleb decked a tree in meaty morsels. Both tigers made it up there. But how does it look in super slow-mo?
They came bolting out of the pen, and here she's right at the bottom of the tree. I imagine she's looking for the best possible place to just go directly up. What we really want to find out is where all that power comes from and how she makes it up that tree. You see here, she's locked on and focused on
100%.
the prize, but she leans back, drops all her body weight onto her rear legs, and thrusts those rear legs.
Wow.
All of that energy is stored up in her hind muscles. And as soon as she makes contact with that tree, grapples on with her front paws, and those rear paws come right up, again, to push her further up. So she's sort of condensing like a spring and then releasing each time she goes. And then again, those feet come forward, up, and push her back up the tree again.
It's incredible.
It's amazing.
Must be similar to like a hunt or something where she's springing out on something and then using her back legs to sort of power her forward and then grappling her with it. So
if the prey is anywhere near them, they don't stand a chance.
No.
Tigers are quick. They stalk and ambush predators. They're capable of taking on almost any prey, even those much larger than themselves. They sneak up to their target. Once they've decided to strike, they use their incredible power and weight, leaping out onto their prey, throwing it off balance. They then use their powerful claws and jaws to sustain the attack, securing their prey in a vice-like grip.
She's actually leaning backwards
yeah.
from her front paws. So her rear legs are actually supporting all of her body weight, and those front paws are just grappling her onto the tree, but she's barely even dug in.
Yeah.
She's just compressing that tree between her like a bodybuilder,
so actually,
and leaning all the way back on it, trying to reach that meat. It's almost effortless.
Yeah, it is. And she's manoeuvring her body weight to sort of come down as well, because obviously they've got to think about coming out of the tree. And
if we take a look at the footage from the tree top down, when she leaves the tree, she sort of lets go with her front paws, is almost falling, twists her spine to face the direction she wants to go, and then thrusts herself off of the tree with her hind legs again.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's almost like she doesn't want to land, sort of go straight down. She wants to sort of land sort of on all fours, really.
Well, cats always land on their feet, right?
It must be that, yeah. It's quite incredible how she can just manoeuvre that way.
It's a 22-stone man jumping 6 feet in the air. Yeah. It's amazing. So at least we've learnt not to climb a tree to outrun a tiger.
Definitely, you're not going to get away from a tiger.
Time now to return to the case of the escaping wallabies. After reviewing hours of footage filmed right across their enclosure, Polly has a hunch of where they might be escaping from. She's returning to the scene of the crime.
I've got a couple of breeze blocks to fill in the gap. I think wallabies would have to squeeze to get through, but there's a potential space that they're getting through, so we're just going to block that up, just to remove any possibility that's the way they're getting through to this side that we don't want them.
The following day, Polly reviews the footage from the night before. Will her simple fix have solved this complex problem?
Where we've put the breeze blocks to block that hole that was dug, they are in that space. And they are kind of looking that way, so maybe that was the way they were sneaking through. They're all there, gathering about by the breeze blocks. So we don't have any wallabies on the other side. They do look a bit miffed. Maybe they're like, yeah, we've blocked their hole. Looks like that's the solution, just block the hole.
The marsupial mystery is finally solved.
I think from this, I've definitely learnt they're quite intelligent and more resourceful than I gave them credit for.
The wallabies are safe at last. The island behind me was built in 1804. It was part of an elaborate scheme by famous garden designer of the time, Humphrey Repton. Now it's more famous for its sole resident, Nico the gorilla. The oldest, perhaps the grumpiest in Europe. But I remember a time when there was another resident on this island, a very, very different character from Nico, and I can't quite believe it's been 10 years since she was with us. Our story begins back in 2006. Longleat's two gorillas are getting old. In fact, at 46, they're amongst the very oldest gorillas in Britain. Keeper Mark Tighe has been looking after Nico the male and Samb the female for 18 years now, so to him, they're very special. But then gorillas are special. After all, our DNA is about 98% the same. Perhaps that's why, like all the great apes, gorillas are capable of emotions that we think of as uniquely human. Emotions such as grief. An animal becoming sick is a fear all keepers share. So everyone was very worried when Samb became poorly. The vet came straight out. Ian Turner was by his side.
He's diagnosed he's got cold come flu symptoms, which obviously wouldn't be too bad, but when a 45-year-old gorilla, and in Sam's case, it could be quite serious. One of the main hiccups with Sam is she doesn't like taking medication. It's the age thing. You know, if you look at 45 years of age on a gorilla, you're talking of a real senior citizen, 80 plus on a human being. And if a senior citizen gets a cold, it always takes them down really much. The good thing about them, we just keep them in. You know, they're not one of those animals what get really stressy, you know, being kept inside.
It took Samb a long time to recover, the rest of the winter and well into the spring. But when the good weather came, she did venture out with Nico to enjoy the pleasures of Gorilla Island. Then, as summer turned to autumn and winter followed on, Samb's health once more began to fail. Once again, it started like a cold or a touch of the flu. But this time there was no stopping it. Then, almost without warning, Samb just faded away and died in the night. It was 2 days before Mark Tighe was ready to talk about it.
We've lost Samb, and it's been a very, very sad time for all of us, Nico included. And myself, I don't know, I can't say conditioned myself to, but I kind of knew it was always going to happen at some point, but that's not made it any easier. I mean, it's been 18 years of my life working with the pair of them. In a way, she went the way I wanted her to go, which was curled up in bed and just gone.
On Gorilla Island, the memories are everywhere.
Samb was just the nice one, you know. She never had that sort of nasty sort of streak that she wanted to hurt people. You know, with Nico, it's always like, can I get one over on you? You know, with her, it was always different. She was always very nice and always very welcoming.
But the one who knew Samb the best is, of course, Nico. After all, they spent their entire lives together.
The whole idea of getting the gorillas in the first place with a male and female was to have babies. And Nico and Samb were got over here as a breeding pair, as it was.
But to everyone's disappointment, there never were any babies.
What we think happened was they'd literally just grown up as brother and sister and just got, you know, so used to knowing each other that that side of it didn't enter his head.
But now she's gone, how does Nico feel? Do gorillas really feel grief like us?
We can't make any bones about it, he's upset. When you've worked with an animal that long, they don't have to do much different to know that they're not happy, and you can just tell by his face, his facial expressions and reactions like that, to be honest, that make you know he's upset.
Nico is very old. In human years, he would be well into his 90s. So the question is, after a blow like this, will he ever recover?
He, like us, is struggling, but we're doing what we can. You know, we're spending more time with him. You know, they are social creatures, and without another gorilla, obviously, we are somewhat limited as to what we can do for him, but, you know, giving him our time is what we can do.
Samb may have passed away, but as long as she's remembered here with affection, she'll never really be gone. Back to the present day, and Nico is still going strong. I've joined my old mate Mark in the gorilla house.
She was a very, very special animal, Samba, wasn't she?
Yeah, she very much was. She was totally different to Nico, totally. Protector of the wronged, I think, is the way I do describe her, is whenever Nico had a go at anybody in the house, she would instantly tell him off, as if she was like, you know, they're all right, leave them alone.
Yeah.
She was a beautiful soul, yeah.
Yeah, she really was. And of all your time that you've spent here, is Samba still right up there with the animal that you've enjoyed looking after most, do you think?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I think it always sort of comes back to me is because we've now got the other gorillas down there and they're all boys, you definitely notice the missing thing, which is the female.
Yeah.
And they've got such different characters. They're so sort of tranquil and peaceful, whereas the males are all boisterous and bolshy. And, you know, I do miss her, and it's quite shocking that it's been 10 years. I can't believe that it's been that long.
I know. You need another girl in your life, Mark.
Definitely.
Over in Animal Adventure, it's Becca and Holly's job to take the ducks for a walk.
Duckies! Duckies!
They're not quackers. They're training the ducks to follow them.
Hi, duckies! So our end goal is to get them down to the stream so they can enjoy the lovely sunshine and have a bit of a paddle as well.
These are Indian runner ducks, sometimes known as penguin ducks because of their upright stance. They can't fly, but, as their name suggests, they can move at quite a speed. Today's the day the keepers hope to lead them all the way to the stream for the first time, and Jean's come along to help.
Hi, Holly. Hiya. How are they getting on? They're getting on really well, these guys. We've been getting them used to coming out and coming for walks around here, so they're doing pretty well. Yeah, they're doing good.
Is there any leaders of the gang?
Yes, we have Jemima. She is the white one.
Okay.
Even though she's a little bit smaller than the others, she is in charge. She is the leader. When we've done the training, she's the one that's at the front, and she's telling them where to go. So if she decides to go somewhere, they all go.
So it's quite important for you to get Jemima on side then, because if she goes, they'll all follow?
Yes, totally. There she goes.
Here she comes.
Come on, duckies!
Yes.
Oh, they're quite
Ducky,
fast.
duckies.
Come on,
Very
duckies.
fast.
So we can just
Come on,
sprinkle some
duckies.
stuff. Come on,
Okay,
duckies.
so just a little bit of food. Oh, there she is out in front. Come on,
Straight
Jemima.
away. That's it.
We're
Come on,
off.
duckies.
Oh, they're following Jemima. Off she goes. Jemima! Oh, that was easy.
Yeah.
And they've gone straight in.
They're brilliant. Oh, excellent.
Holly, that went really well. As soon as you opened the gate, they kind of just sped out and found their way straight to the stream.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
Were
We
you
were quite
expecting
lucky. It was
that?
good. They can veer off sometimes, and they almost did, but no, straight in. They know where they're going. But we've been doing this very gradually, so we've been doing a little bit further every day. So we just build up to this point, and then it's as easy as that.
What are the benefits of them being in the stream?
Being in the stream is pretty amazing because then they can just express all their natural behaviours. It's the perfect enclosure for them because it's exactly what they'd have in the wild.
Little exercise went quite well. It turns out you can lead a duck to water.
This series, we followed a group of keepers on an epic fact-finding mission to Kenya. Carnivore keeper Amy was part of the crack team and had her first experience of seeing a lion in the wild.
Absolutely incredible. Just being this close to a wild lion is absolutely sort of, it's what I've come here to come and see. And I've seen it, and it's amazing.
Whilst there, Amy got first-rate advice from expert rangers on the reserve. She wanted to know how to reduce the amount of fighting between some of the young male lions in the park. Mary suggested that adjusting the ratio of males and females in some of the prides could help.
What happens is that the males are quite comfortable. The idea of putting the males together is good.
But what happened next? Kate and I have come up to the lion enclosure with Amy to let the lions in. Can I do the honours?
You can indeed.
OK, so we just open this. Here they come.
You sure you're opening the right gate?
Well, I hope so. I hope so. How's the restructuring going, by the way?
Really well, actually. Yeah, it's early stages.
This is the pride. You're trying to...
Yeah.
Look, here we come. Hello.
So we're trying to get a bachelor group together.
Yep.
But it's very early stages at the moment. But hopefully that will go well, and then we can move on and trying to get the rest sort of together, try and get as many girls as we can together.
Was it fascinating being out in Africa and seeing your very first wild lions?
It was incredible. Absolutely. I still can't believe that I've actually been to Africa and seen wild lions. Even just the footprints that I found, that was incredible. Just even seeing them, just wild footprints, that was incredible.
When you look at these guys now, do you look at them with a different set of eyes?
Oh, completely, yes, completely. Just knowing what they're what they're like in the wild and coming back here and just seeing them again, it's absolutely amazing. They're incredible creatures, aren't they?
And did you get insight? Because I know one of the challenges that you've had is with this very big pride and with the lions fighting. Did you feel a little bit better when you discovered that lions do scrap in the wild, that actually the behaviour that you're seeing isn't entirely unnatural?
Oh, completely. And that's what we've always tried to sort of have going on here. We want them to sort of sort their differences out themselves. But yeah, going out to Africa and seeing that's how they do work, and everything we're doing is actually how they do work in the wild, and it was great. It was a good sort of confidence booster to know that we're doing things right here.
Well, really, really good luck with the restructure, and they certainly look very well and very happy. Sadly, that's all we've got time for on today's programme, but here's what's coming up on the next Animal Park.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
It's Binturong boy meets girl. The mates are put together for the very first time, but will they find love?
And I'll visit. Promise.
It's a tough goodbye to one of Elephant Anne's beloved keepers.
And a big hello to this little one, quite possibly Animal Park's cutest ever baby.
He's handsome, he's in good nick, very well behaved.